The following is a reconstruction based on declassified forensic archives for educational purposes only. Do not attempt to replicate any methods shown. This record is as follows. You think you know what a high-stakes asset looks like. You're thinking of a Tiger tank or a V-2 rocket. You're wrong. In 1944, as documented in resistance field reports, a notable and effective tool in occupied France was a rusted, squeaky bicycle pedaled by a scrawny teenager. At a Lyon checkpoint, patrols would tear cars apart looking for resistance blueprints, but they didn't even glance at the kid. That was their last mistake. Hidden inside that beat-up frame was enough specialized material to render a logistics corridor spanning dozens of kilometers tactically non-functional. This wasn't a DIY project. Historical archives show it was a calculated sabotage device birthed in the OSS Research and Development Labs, the precursor to the modern CIA, developed in tandem with the British SOE. Before the CIA ever set foot in Langley, historical records confirm Wild Bill Donovan was running a shop of wonders. In '42, he gave his OSS teams one impossible objective: arm the partisans with something the opposition would never frisk. They developed the Bicycle Sabotage Kit. The engineering was clinical. Instead of a pressurized vessel, they utilized the hollow steel tubing to conceal high-explosive pencils and plastic explosives. But how do you pull the trigger? Declassified records suggest that one variant used a modified brake lever to prime the charge. A second design involved a time delay mechanism hidden inside the seat post. An operative would lean his bike against a fuel truck and simply walk away. 10 minutes later, total operational finality. But the tech was volatile. At secret training sites, internal memos indicate teams realized that if a partisan hit a curb too hard, the encounter could end instantly. Legend has it that a false flag nut on the rear axle acted as a safety. Unless you turned that specific bolt exactly 3 times to the left, the internal mechanism stayed locked. The real test came with Operation Jedburgh, a daring tripartite effort between the US, UK, and Free French forces. Jeds specifically requested these bikes for unattributed missions. According to declassified cables, if a bridge was neutralized and a mangled bike was found in the rubble, the authorities just figured a civilian got caught in the crossfire. In July '44, an asset in Brittany passed through 3 checkpoints with a specialized device. The guards padded his pockets, but never thought to unscrew his seat post. But then came a nightmare scenario recorded in local accounts. According to unverified resistance memoirs, an operative codenamed Pierre was stopped by a sergeant who decided he liked the bike and he was taking it. Pierre had 5 seconds. As the sergeant reached for the handlebars, the trigger for the hidden charge, reports suggest Pierre initiated a tactical diversion, shoving the bike at the man and diving for cover. The significant kinetic event that followed didn't just clear the checkpoint, it sent a message. But high command started worrying. According to internal correspondence, if the adversary caught on, every miner on a bike would face immediate operational finality. By late '44, the bike wasn't the device, it was the delivery vehicle. The magnetic frame attachment allowed assets to pedal alongside slow freight trains and snap a charge onto a car. But there's a detail the archival record shows. If that magnet caught the bike frame instead of the train, the operative was going under the wheels. Simultaneously, Allied intelligence adapted BSA airborne folding bikes with incendiary elements in the seat tubes. During Operation Dragoon, records indicate some were used not just for transport, but as improvised tools to melt communication lines from the inside out. Mobility was their only armor. The bicycle device wasn't just about the boom. Declassified signals intel reveals a more subtle move, the antenna bike. Engineers realized a properly insulated bike frame could act as a high-gain antenna. An operative could sit in a park, looking like he was just catching his breath, while a hidden radio in his bag sent intel back to London. The opposition was looking for radio towers, while the asset was sitting right in front of them, eating a sandwich. As the theater moved east, historical evidence suggests a variant was developed with specialized wax to survive the tropical humidity of the Pacific, ensuring the Trojan horse could survive the climate. Fast forward to 1947. The war was over, but the bicycle device refused to die. In the early days of the Cold War, the goal shifted from sabotage to surveillance. The bicycle wasn't a tactical tool anymore. It was a hard drive. By the mid-50s, intelligence archives show the Stasi was putting a burn notice on everything crossing the border. In response, CIA Berlin base records revealed the development of the cavity bike. These frames were bored out to hold microfilm and one-time pads for encrypted comms. 156 memo describes a seat post rigged with a thermal incendiary failsafe. If the police tried to force the frame open, the intel would literally turn to ash in their hands. 1961. According to declassified case files, an asset codenamed Cyclops was using a Dutch city bike to smuggle documents through the Tiergarten. But there was someone else watching. Someone Cyclops never noticed. The Stasi surveillance logs indicate trackers realized the bike was his safe house. They waited for the brush pass and moved in. The drop was blown. The network was compromised. The agency had to decommission the entire operation. And, as documented in declassified intelligence summaries, Cyclops vanished into the shadows of East Berlin. The bicycle device's final evolution happened in the jungles of Southeast Asia. While official records remain largely classified, accounts of Project Eldest Son-style sabotage detail compromised ball bearings designed to fail catastrophically under heavy loads, often exceeding 100 kilograms. It was sabotage by gravity. If a supply bike disintegrated on a mountain pass, it looked like a mechanical failure, not a CIA operation. The opposition wasn't being outgunned, they were being out-engineered by a tool as old as the late 19th century. Today, the bicycle device sits in the archival vault of history. The brilliance wasn't the activation, it was the psychology. It exploited the bureaucratic blindness of a guard who sees a bike as a toy. From the pressurized frames of France to the microfilm hubs of Berlin, the bicycle proved that high-tech gear is nothing compared to a clever legend. But as the era of the bike ended, a new kind of everyday espionage took over. What if the CIA's biggest secret was hidden in a simple ballpoint pen, or what the Brits call a biro? 500 photos, a high-speed lens, and a secret that, according to declassified reports, could have changed the Cold War. If you're ready for that story, hit the subscribe button. It's finally coming out of the shadows.